The Blade Dancer subclass within the Dancer modded class is a really awesome sort of like melee focused but still charisma spellcaster. We're going to go over it. It allows you to buff yourself in so many different ways. So of course we start with the Dancer mod. This will give you Rhythmic Rally. Inspire your allies through dance to give them an extra action this turn, which is massive at level 1. And Harmonious Hustle, a +2 bonus to initiative, also huge at level 1. This leads us into our spells, and for this we are going to take Melodic Mend. Inspire your allies through dance and help up downed characters or remove burning, ensnared, entangled, and web prone and sleeping as a bonus action. And we're going to take Guidance as well for the 1d4 bonus to ability checks. For ability points, we're going to have 8 strength, 16 dexterity for our weapon attacks, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 10 wisdom, 16 charisma, as this is our spellcasting modifier. Proficiencies, take whatever fits your roleplay. Dancer level 2 brings more spells. So for this, we are going to take Healing Word, so we have some healing capability. And we're going to take Colour Spray, so we can potentially blind creatures. Dancer level 3 brings our specialization and Instinctual Improv. Your reflexes are effective as any armor. While not wearing armor, you add your Charisma modifier to your armor class, a huge boost to your AC. We get 2 more spells, so we are going to take Fairy Fire, because I love Fairy Fire, and we'll pair this with Cure Wounds. And then we get to pick our subclass. So for this, we are starting with the Blade Dancer. I will be doing build guides for all 3. But the Blade Dancers transform their weapons into instruments of death through dance-like movements and support their allies they've sworn to protect from the front lines. Now from here, we get to pick a cantrip. So we get Booming Blade, we can take Bolt Struck Blade, or we can take Burning Blade. So obviously Burning Blade will set your target on fire every turn, Bolt Struck will deal lightning damage, but we're going with Booming Blade because I love this ability. Dancer level 4 brings our first feat. Before that though, we gain a dance, and each dance adds new things. So for example, Cha-Cha will give you movement speed is doubled. We have Salsa, if we press the right button, +3 to armor class. Vogue, an additional action on this turn, and this is the one we're starting with. Break, a +3 bonus to damage and attack rolls. Mosh, this will cast Mosh Pit at a target moving into melee range. Samba grants you an additional bonus action on this turn. And then finally there is Hula, and this will heal you 8 hit points each turn we have the condition. So as I said, we are starting with Vogue to gain an extra action. And then for an ability improvement, we are going to take the ability improvement up to Dex 18. Dancer level 5 brings a new spell and passive. So for a spell here, we are going to take Vicious Mockery. And then for passive, we have 3 other options. We have Reverberating, which when we deal damage with a melee attack, we inflict 2 stacks of Reverberation, and this is what we're going with. We have Surging Sonata, so whenever we deal lightning damage with a melee attack, whenever we deal damage with a melee attack, we give 2 stacks of lightning charges to ourselves. Or Flaring Fantasia, when we deal weapon damage with a melee attack, we give ourselves 2 turns of heat. I think personally, the reverberation on the target is the most helpful. Dancer level 6 gives Free Flow, so moving won't provoke opportunity attacks, which is a huge ability. Dancer level 7 brings more spells, and we get to pick another dance here, and for this one I would personally take, as I press the wrong button once again, Salsa for the +3 bonus to armor class when we use this. Dancer level 8 brings a second feat. We also gain spells here. So there's Thunderous Tempo. We can charge forward, dealing 2 to 16 thunder damage and dazing any enemies we hit. There's Lightning, which will charge forward, shocking foes and dealing 2 to 16 lightning damage. And then Fiery Falsetto, charge forward, dealing fire damage and setting your target on fire. And this is what we were going with. And then for ability improvement, you probably guessed it, but we are bumping our dexterity up to 20. Dancer level 9 brings Serene Stretch. So we can take an action to recover 1 dance step and some health, and dance step is what you use to do the abilities we've been picking up as we go through this build guide. Dancer level 10 brings a new spell and a new dance, and for this one we are going to take, once I pick the right one once again, Breaking for the +3 bonus to attack and damage rolls. Dancer level 11 brings Explosive Encore. Call upon your power to deliver the ultimate finale for 3 to 18 thunder, lightning and fire damage. A huge damage output for 2 dance step. Dancer level 12 brings a new feat, or our final feat I should say, and for this there are two options. Ability Improvement, bump your Charisma up, help your spellcasting, help your AC, or you can come down here and take what I'm going to take, which is Savage Attacker. When making melee weapon attacks, reroll damage dice twice and use the highest result. Okay, let's go over equipment, and we start with Birthright to boost our Charisma up by 2 to 18. You could also go to the Mask of Soul Perception if you want for the +2 to attack rolls. The Cloak of Protection for +1 to AC and saving throws. The Speed Hump boost to give us use of Dimension Door. The Robe of the Weeb to ensure we're not wearing armour. +1 bonus to spell save DC and spell attack rolls. A +2 to armour class, and when we succeed a saving throw, we'll regain 1 to 6 hit points. For gloves, the Hell Dust Gloves for +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and an extra 1 to 6 fire damage on our weapon attacks. If you want to, you could also take the Braces of Defense to boost your AC even further. The Caustic Band for 2 solid acid damage. The Shifting Corpus Ring for use of invisibility and blur. I like using the Amulet of Misty Step here just to help us get around the battlefield. And then for a weapon, I am personally going with Cohen's Cauterizer. Solid fire damage on top of it already. If we hit a target, we can cause burning unless it makes a con save. It just ties into the elemental damage we've been dealing across this build. So that is the build. Let's go find some combat and check it out. Okay, we started the combat and you can see we're atop the turn order alongside our rogue. So let's get this going, and we're going to start by doing our big hefty attack, Explosive Encore. Now this will use 2 of your dance steps, but as you can see it has a nice little radius. So actually this is probably the type of thing you want to do when you've got a group of enemies together. So we're actually going to save it for this round. What we'll do is we'll come down here and we will get Booming Blade going. So we're going to hit this enemy here. When I have enough movement speed, Booming Blade, and there you go, you'll see the massive damage output, the extra fire damage because of our gloves, and the fire damage because of our Cauterizer, as well as the Reverberation, the Booming Blade, and the Burn. So you can really stack up a bunch of abilities on here. And then of course from here, as you can see, we can do Rhythmic Rally as a bonus action, give every one of our targets a bonus action this round. So let's do it on Jaheira. And there you go. You'll see the fire damage there, and then 2 big misses. And as you know, we have 2 actions now with Jaheira, so we can do 1 attack, and then follow this up with another attack, and she is just a regular druid. Now we have a few other abilities we can show off with the dancer, so if we move around here, we know we don't provoke opportunity attacks, which is awesome, and because of this, what we can do is our Fiery Falsetto, where we dash through in a line, and you'll see all the fire, the burn, the acid damage we did here. A huge amount. And that doesn't use any of your Blade Dancer abilities. But it is a whole action, as you can see here, so just bear that in mind. What we could do is we could do our melodic thing to help up anyone who's downed or unwebbed. No one is currently. So instead we could do a flourish, just to deal some extra damage to the Barbarian like that. You'll see the Barbarian taking the 3 burn there. And you see the enemy absolutely torched there. Now if we look at just our regular attack damage, you'll see it's still pretty hefty. But we do only get 1 attack per round, there's no extra attack here. So again, if we want to, we can do a Rhythmic Rally, we can give Shadowheart this time an extra attack. So now she'll have 2 actions this turn. As you can see here, 1 attack, and then our next action with another attack. Okay, it's now back to our turn, and you can see we have a downed ally, which means we can do our Melodic Mend. We can target our downed ally, and there you go, they are now on their feet. And because that's a bonus action, it means we can run in here, and now I can effectively show off Explosive Encore on these 2. And you'll see the huge damage and burn we caused there. You see Reverberation, Burning, Searing Smite, Daze, Searing Smite, Burning, Reverberation. Just so many stacks of abilities. You see one enemy actually just burnt to a crisp there. And then that one also takes a bunch of damage. Okay, let's try this again. We're going to come in here. And we're going to do Booming Blade. Now this will do damage when they move. So now we land this, and an archer will always move because they don't want to be close to you to take damage. And of course, as a bonus action, Rhythmic Rally, we can Healing Word, so we can heal ourselves up, using a spell slot just like that. So a lot of the Blade Dancer abilities you see don't actually cost anything, which is really awesome. You see the damage there from Boom and Blade? But what will use your dance steps is your dances like this. So for example, if we did Salsa, we'd gain a +3 to AC. And if we come in here, you'll see we now have 25 armor class, meaning we still have a bonus action available, where again we could Melodic Mend if we need to, we could Rhythmic Mend, we could Misty Step, lots of good options. We can even, if we wanted to, we can try and Shove, which probably won't work. Oh, it did. And there you go, if they were close to the edge, we would have thrown them for full damage. We also know, thanks to our equipment, we have Rays of Fire, so we could also fire this as a ranged damage dealer. So at this point it is just a case of taking out the enemy, so we can land a big hit here, break their concentration, cause burning. So that is the Blade Dancer. Now bear in mind, you'll see we have 1 missing spell slot and 3 missing dance steps. If we short rest, we don't get any back, so bear that in mind. But if you're looking for a dexterous build that will allow you to build up a bunch of stacks of different abilities, you can do fire damage, boom blade, thunder damage, lightning damage, then this is probably the subclass for you. The Cheerleader is a really supportive, almost borderline cleric-like subclass within the Dancer modded class that is very supportive. You can, heal all your allies up, you can keep them topped up, you can even replenish things like wall shape charges, raid charges, key points, that sort of thing. So let's go over it. We're going to level by level, commentary on all the items you can need. So of course we start with the Dancer modded class, and this will give you Rhythmic Rally. So inspire your allies through dance to give them an extra action to use this turn as a bonus action, and this is huge. Harmonious Hustle, a +2 bonus to initiative rolls. And that pushes us into our spells, and for this one we're going to start with Melodic Mend. Inspire your allies through dance and help up down to characters, or remove burning, ensnared, entangled, and web prone, and sleeping. Again, a huge ability as a bonus action at level 1. And we're going to pair this with Minor Illusion to create an illusion. When it comes to ability points, we're going to have 8 Strength, 16 Dexterity, 14 Constitution, 10 Intelligence, 10 Wisdom, and 16 Charisma, as this is your spellcasting modifier. For proficiencies, take what fits your roleplay. Dancer level 2 brings more spells, and for this we're going to take Fairy Fire to give advantage on attack rolls to any enemies lit up by this. And we'll pair this with Long Strider to give us, or our allies, an extra 3 meters of movement speed. Dancer level 3 is where we get to pick our specialization. Before that we gain some more spells, and we will take Cure Wounds and Healing Word to begin our healing capabilities. And this will lead very nicely into the Cheerleader subclass. So cheerleaders would rather cheer their allies to keep them in good fighting shape than engage in combat themselves. So this will give you Cheer of Creation, cheer on a teammate and spin a spell slot to unlock a spell slot for them, as well as Pom Pom Prayer. So cheer on an ally to keep them fighting and heal them, and you'll give them 4 hit points. Dancer level 4 brings a new feat. Before this we get to pick a dance, and if you need to go over these and read them all, then go and check out my War Dancer that I did a few days ago. But for this we are just going to start with, when I find the right one, Salsa, and this will give you a +3 to your armor class, making us harder to hit, and we do need some extra AC. We get to pick more spells at this point, and I would start with Misty Step to help us get around the battlefield, and then I would also take Lesser Restoration, so we can cure creatures from disease, poison, paralysis, or blindness. We get to pick a feat, and for this we're going to take the Ability Improvement and bump 18 into Charisma. Dancer level 5 brings more spells. We get to pick a new enchantment cantrip at this point, and it's just meant to say cantrip, but I messed it up, that's okay. And we're going to take Guidance for some capabilities outside of combat. We get to pick one more spell here, and we will take Aid. Dancer level 6 brings Free Flow. Retreat safely, moving won't provoke opportunity attacks. This is huge to get out of danger. And here we get to pick some more spells, so we will take for this one the Pom Pom Party. 6 to 20 healing is a 2d8 plus 4. Cheer on nearby allies within 3 meters and heal them for 2 turns. Level 3 spell slot. Now we get to pick a cheer, and these cheers are cheers of celebration or cheers of chivalry. And essentially what all of these do is restore something. So as you can see, you can spend 1 dance step to give 1 wall shape, 1 dance to give 1 key, rage, channel divinity, channel oath, and bardic inspiration. And obviously you're probably not going to want to pick the same ones I'm picking. Pick this based on whatever your party composition is most of the time. For example, if you are using a Minthara. So you have paladins. You probably want to take Cheer of Chivalry. I don't have a paladin, so this one is useless to me. So for this one, we will start with the wild shape because I will be using Chihira for the combat tutorial. Dancer level 7 brings new spells. We gain another dance at this point as well, and for this one we are going to take a Vogue to give us an extra action on one turn. And we gain more spells here, so for this we are going to take the Warden of Vitality. So while this aura lasts, you can cast Restore Vitality as a bonus action to heal yourself or nearby allies. Dancer level 8 brings a new feat. Before that, once again we get more spells, so we are going to take Mass Healing Word. And then for your feat, here we're going to take the ability improvement and max our charisma at 20. Dancer level 9 brings Serene Stretch, so we can take a second to sit down and stretch, recover 1 dance step and some health. We gain more spells at this point, so let's take Misty Step. Dancer level 9 brings Serene Stretch, so we can take a second to sit down and stretch, you deserve it, recover 1 dance step and some health. To go alongside this, we are going to take Misty Step. And then as you can see, we get another cheer, and once again pick whatever you need based on your party composition. I'm using Shadow Heart, so I'm going to take a Channel Divinity. Dancer level 10 brings more spells, and before we get to pick one of them, we get to pick a dance. So for this one, we're going to take Samba, so we can give ourselves an extra bonus action. We get to pick another spell at this point, so let's take Remove Curse. Dancer level 11 brings more spells as per usual, and for this one, we're going to take Greater Restoration. And then finally, Dancer level 12 brings a new feat. Before that, more spells to choose from, so we are going to take Mass Cure Wounds. This is basically our biggest healing capability we have. We get another cheer, so once again pick whatever you need. I'm just going to take Key, because why not? And then for a feat, we're going to take Alert. Plus 5 bonus to Initiative, and we cannot be surprised. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we're saving a lot of our equipment for other characters. So a lot of the good wizard equipment or spellcaster equipment we're saving for our actual spellcasters and all sorts. So this you can really slot into any format. So we're going to start with the Browbeat and Circle It for a +1 bonus to spell save DC while threatened. The Cloak of Displacement. This will activate giving enemies disadvantage on attack rolls against us until we get hit, effectively just to protect us a little bit. We're going to take the Evasive Shoes to give us a +1 to Acrobatics and Armor class. The Shelter of Akfkala. This will give you advantage on saving throws against spells and a use of Mirror Image, and a nice way to boost your AC and protect yourself. Obviously, if this is the only spellcaster you're using, you could take the Robes of the Weave, give yourself another +2 to AC, that sort of thing. We're going to take the Braces of Defense to give ourselves a +2 bonus to Armor class, as long as we're not holding armor or a shield. The Burnish Ring for use of Paralyzing Ray. The Shifting Corpus Ring gives us use of Invisibility and Blur. The Strange Tendril Amulet to give us Edvard's Black Tentacles, one of my favourite spells in the game. You can use this to trap enemies, causing damage to them. And then finally, for a staff, again we're saving Markshare and the Staff of Spell Power for people that have high level damage dealing spells to use Arcane Battery. If you want to use them, you perfectly can. But for this, I've taken the Harper Sacred Striker to give us Spiritual Weapon, so that we can basically have some damage output from our character. So that is the build. Let's go find some combat and check it. Okay, we're in the combat. You can see we're top of the turn order alongside our rogue. So let's get our spiritual weapon going, and we'll just get a great axe. And now because it's coming from the staff, we actually get to cast it at 6th level, despite not having any 6th level spell slots. Now with that being said, that still frees up our main action, and there's so many things we can do, but a lot of our capabilities are healing based. So let's just start with something very simple. We'll start with the Warden of Vitality. So then when we do take damage, at least our allies will be healed up. Okay, now to show some of our abilities, we will start with our Wild Shape to use one of our capabilities here. So let's Wild Shape, and let's just turn into a Panther. Nice and small. And we'll also use one of our Channel Divinities, so let me just find that in my list here. So let's do our Cloak of Shadows. And there we go, we used up one of our Channel Divinity charges. Okay, and with our Spiritual Weapon, we'll use this to hunt down enemies. And you see we can deal some pretty decent damage with it. Now from here, we can actually start showing off some of our amazing healing stuff. So let's start with Pom Pom Party. Now you can upcast this for more, we're not going to worry. We're just going to do it for level 3 for 2 turns. And as you can see, if we put it here, it works in this radius almost like a Spirit Guardians. So if we come through here, because we know we don't get opportunity attacks, we can sort of just run around like a battlefield medic. And from there, that still frees up our bonus action, so we can restore vitality if we want to. Thanks to our Warden of Vitality we're still concentrating on. We can target Jaheira with this. Now she was already topped up fully, and that's okay, but you get the gist with this. And again, we use our Spiritual Weapon to deal some damage, since we don't really have any damage capabilities ourselves. And what we can do from here, as you can see, we still have so many abilities available to us. So, first things first, let's increase our AC. And we do this through Dance Salsa. So if we do this, we use one of our dance steps, and we're now harder to hit. And what we can do here is we can do our Rhythmic Rally to give a character an extra action this turn. So if we pair this with Jaheira, who's used one of her wild shape forms, and what we can do with that is if we target the Barbarian, we can do our attack. You'll see we have an attack we can do as a bonus action, get that going, and we still have our extra action where we can continue piling out the extra attacks. So you can really pile out this damage. And as you can see, we can just keep going, completely chipping away. Spiritual Weapon once again, chip away at the enemy's health bar. And that brings us, and you'll see our Warden of Vitality has run out, or our Aura of Vitality has run out. But, of course, we still have all of these capabilities, and everything is pretty much healing, so there's not really too much I can show off with this build, to be honest. Now we can reactivate our Vitality, just like that, little top-ups. But yeah, there's really not much to show off with this. It's very much a unconventional cleric. We can obviously do our big heals, so we can do some mass healing word as a bonus action. But that's why I've sort of put gear on here that could come in handful, like Edvar's Black Tentacles. Because we can throw this up here, and we can try and entangle people to keep them stuck. So of course we can just keep doing things like our Rhythmic Rally to give characters extra attacks, or sorry, extra actions. And then obviously if you pair this with like a fighter, you can give them basically action surge every turn. So there's lots of good sort of capabilities with this, but this is the kind of subclass that your party composition really matters. For example, in this demonstration, obviously I've gone with a druid, a rogue, and a cleric to show off that you do become very, very limited. Whereas if I had Karlach, Lae'zel, and Gale, for example, with this cheerleader, then we could be doing 6 attacks every turn with Lae'zel. We can keep restoring rage with Karlach. We can give Gale spell slots, like really awesome abilities like that. So party composition is so important when it comes to using this subclass. So that is the cheerleader in action. If we check out Jaheira, you'll see she's only got one wild shape left. So if we come to our character, and we go to Cheer of Conservation, spend 1 dance to get 1 wild shape, we can select Jaheira here. And if we come to Jaheira, you'll see she now has 2. So you can really just revamp this outside of combat, allowing you not to take as many short rests if you don't need to. The Paramour subclass for the Dancer is kind of like a bard hybrid with a rogue, I guess? Essentially it's all about charming enemies while still being able to deal some damage. So let's go over it. We're going to go level by level, comment tutorial on all the items you will need. So of course we start with the Dancer, and this will give you a Rhythmic Rally. So as a bonus action, you can inspire your allies through dance to give them an extra action this turn. There's also Harmonious Hustle, which gives us +2 bonus to initiative, helping boost us up the turn order. Now when it comes to spells, the first 2 I would pick would be Melodic Mentor, inspire your allies through dance and help up downed characters, or remove burning, ensnared, entangled, enwebbed, prone, and sleeping, which is huge at level 1. Rose-Communicate Guidance really fits the theme of this class, and 1d4 bonus to ability checks outside of combat is awesome. When it comes to ability points, we're going to have 8 strength, 16 dexterity, 14 constitution, 10 intelligence, 10 wisdom, and 16 charisma, this being your spellcasting modifier. And then finally, for your proficiencies, take whatever fits your roleplay. Dancer level 2 brings us some more spells, and for this we are going to take Fairy Fire, so we can turn invisible enemies visible and give our allies attack roll advantage on anyone that is lit up. And we'll pair this very nicely with Healing Words, so we have some healing capabilities. It's at level 3 we get to pick our specialization. Before that though, we get 2 more spells. So for this we will take Cure Wounds, more healing capability. And we'll take Charm Person, as this also fits this subclass amazingly. And then for the subclass, as I said, we are going to Paramour, as I picked the wrong thing. Paramours use their dances to improve a single ally's abilities while they mesmerize the enemy. So this will give you a luring aura. With your charm, you're far more convincing than most. And Lover's Lash. Put a creature 6 meters closer to you and charm them. So this is a hybrid of Charm and Thorn Whip. Pretty awesome cantrip. Dancer level 4 brings a first feat for us, and it takes 2 to tango. So you become dance partners with an ally. Gain advantage on all saving throws and attack rolls, so you can really basically pair yourself together with someone, and you'll see how you both get buffs from this. So we get to pick some dances. Now there's a few options here. We have Dance Cha-Cha, which give both people, you and your dance partner, a +9 to movement. We have Salsa. Now in the text box it says a +3 to attack rolls and damage. It isn't, it's the same as all the other subclasses. It's a +3 to armor class, and we will be taking this one. Evoke, which will give you both an extra action this turn. Break, which will be you both get +3 to attack rolls and damage. Mosh, so you can both attack an enemy as a reaction to getting hit. Samba, both gain an extra bonus action. And then finally Hula, where you both heal for 8 health every turn. So as I said, we are starting with Salsa for that +3 to armor class. Now we get to pick another spell at this point, and Misty Step is the one to take so we can get around the battlefield. And then for your feat, we are going to take the ability improvement and bump our charisma up to 18. Dancer level 5 brings a new cantrip for us to use, and for this one I do think Vicious Mockery is awesome. We get to pick one more spell, and for this one I really do like the Ray of Enfeeblement. Weaken a foe, they deal half damage with weapon attacks using strength, awesome on things like barbarians, fighters, people that can hit really hard. Dancer level 6 brings Free Flow, so we don't provoke opportunity attacks now by moving. And Brilliant Belly Dance. Entrance a foe with your Stunning Dance, drawing them towards you and increasing your dex and charisma by +2. Now this is concentration, so bear that in mind, but it's a nice way of just boosting your stats up. We get one more spell here, and we are going to take Paramour Persuasion. So entrance an enemy and force them to join your side. They will take 2 to 8 psychic damage immediately and 1 to 6 psychic damage per turn. This lasts for 4 turns. On a save, the target will still take the damage, they just won't be charmed. Dancer level 7 brings us a new dance to pick from, and for this one we are going to take Vogues with both gain an extra action. That brings us to Dancer level 8, where we get our next feat. Before that, however, we do gain a new spell, and for this we are going to take the Siren Song, luring men and women with your entrancing voice. This is essentially a nice way of doing like a traditional tank ability, or a taunt ability I should say, in an RPG. And if you pair yourself with like a fighter or barbarian, you could really get those cleaves out, those extra attacks, all sorts. Maybe even drop an AoE. So for the feat, we are going to take the ability improvement and max our charisma out at 20. Dancer level 9 brings Serene Stretch, so we can take a second to sit down and stretch because we deserve it. We will recover 1 dance step and some health. Dance steps obviously being what we need to do our abilities. We get another spell at this point, and I really do like Hypnotic Pattern for this build. Dancer level 10 brings a Ravishing Rumba. Your dedication to your dance partner really shows. Gain resistance to all damage when dancing with a partner. This is a massive power spike. We gain 1 more dance, and I do think it's really worthwhile taking the extra bonus action. If you really want to take the +2 to attack rolls and damage, you could. Kind of interchangeable here, whichever one you want to use. It kind of depends on who you're having as your dance partner. For example, if you're going to pair yourself with a rogue who can use their offhand, then having an extra bonus action for another attack could be helpful. If not, if you're going with a fighter, +3 damage over 3 attacks is an extra 9. Pretty useful too. For a spell here, we're going to take Confusion. Again, really fits the theme of this build. Dancer level 11 brings a new spell, and for this one we are going to take Dominate Person, a awesome ability to use. Dancer level 12 brings a new feat, and we gain 1 more spell, and for this one I really do like taking Blindness. This is so helpful at times. And then for the ability improvement, we're going to bump ourselves up with Alert. +5 bonus to initiative, and cannot be surprised. If you want to, you could boost your dex to 18, choice is really yours, but I think the quicker we can go and the quicker we can get Dance Partner, the quicker we can get all this set up. Okay, let's go over our equipment, and we start with Birthright to give you a +2 to your charisma, and it can push you above your max of 20 to 22. We take the Flesh Melter Cloak, so that we take melee damage. The creature attacking us will take 1 to 4 acid damage. The Space Hunt boost gives us Dimension Door. Why I've gone for this is if you have a dance partner who's near you, you can both use Dimension Door. Pretty awesome way to get you both around the battlefield. We're going to go with the Studded Leather Armour as light armour for 1 less bludgeoning damage and a +1 to our initiative, ensuring we're as high up the turn order as possible. The Helldust Gloves to give us a +1 bonus to spell attack rolls and spell save DC, and 1 to 6 fire damage on our weapon attacks. The Ring of Mind Shielding to ensure that we cannot be charmed. The Burnish Ring to give us a use of Paralysing Ray. The Amulet of Greater Health. Now why I've gone for this is advantage on Constitution saving throws to help with our concentration, and it will set our Constitution to 23. So if you want to respec and dump your Con to 8, boost up something else like your Wisdom, your Dex, your Strength, you really can. For a weapon, we've gone with Bloodthirst, improves our critical number by 1, and we can we can give creatures vulnerability when we hit them with piercing damage with this. And then any shield will do just to give us some extra AC. So that is the build. Let's go find some combat and check it out. Okay, we've started the combat and you can see we're top of the turn order. So we need to get ourselves a dance partner. That is the key thing about playing as the Paramour. So what we're going to do is we're going to do dance partner Vogue. And we're going to benefit from pairing this with Lae'zel. So now both of us get an extra action on the next turn. And you can see it did use 2 of our dance-like abilities. But again, if we need to, we can regen these by using our class ability. Now because we've done that, we still have the option for other abilities. So let's do Paramour Persuasion, as I picked the wrong button. Paramour Persuasion, we'll do this at 3rd level, and let's try and charm the Barbarian into joining our side. Now unfortunately I made their save, but they did still take the psychic damage. And as you can see, we now have Lae'zel, so we can really benefit from being dance partners with the Paramour, because we effectively have a use of Action Surge. As you can see, we can keep dominating the battlefield. And when paired with something like Great Weapon Master, we can even use an attack as our bonus action. And then if we really wanted to, we could Action Surge, just like that, and you can pump out 10 attacks in 1 round. Now unfortunately we don't have a bow. Can I do a rush attack or something like that? No. But you get the gist here, like there are so many awesome options for us. Okay, so it's back to the Paramour's turn, and as you can see, we kind of are in a situation where we've decimated a lot of the enemies already on round 1. So what we're going to do is we are going to do our Siren Song. We'll do this at level 4. I can feel my controller rumbling, so it's doing something. I promise. And there you go. And as you can see, we've done our Luring Song for all of them. From here, we also have the ability to still do our main action, as that counts as it. So from here, again, we have so many awesome abilities, but we are concentrating, so bear that in mind before doing this. So what we could do a Vicious Mockery, for example, put this on the Barbarian, and there you go. Now you'll see we are still voguing, so we get 1, we get 2, we get 3, and we still get that extra action. So we can keep pumping out these attacks. And that is why the Paramour is so powerful, because depending on who you make your dance partner, you can decimate enemies. If this is a boss fight and you're against Orin, you can do 6 attacks against Orin every single round. And of course, like I said, with Great Weapon Master, we can get that 7th. But Action Surgeon, we can get a maximum of 9 attacks in a round. Or 10 attacks in a round, sorry, if you pair this with Great Weapon Master. And there you go, you'll see what I was saying about the lore. Draws enemies towards you. Very much like the Harpies. So of course, when you draw them towards you, it allows your allies to get in close and strike. And that also means we can get in and strike, causing that vulnerability to piercing damage, and because we gain an extra action, we can pump out 2 attacks. And then really, it is just a case of already ending the fight. Now if we want to, we can end our turn here. The enemy is still being lured towards us, so they can't do anything, and we have completely nullified the battlefield. Okay, so we deliberately broke our concentration. We're going to come up here, and we're going to show off our brilliant belly dance, which is just here. When it works, once again I can feel the controller rumbling, so it is doing something. And there you go. So we've lured the enemy towards us, and because of brilliant belly dance, we gain a +2 to our Dex and Charisma. So we come to our stats here. You'll see the charisma doesn't really matter because we're already maxed out, but our dex is now an 18. And of course that still frees up our action. So again, if we want to, we could throw out a Raise of Fire, we could do another Vogue, lots of awesome abilities. Or we can give ourselves a Salsa. So we can once again target someone, so let's target Shadowheart. So instead of now being paired with Lae'zel, giving her and us an extra attack, we're now paired with Shadowheart, and we both gain a +3 to attack and damage rolls. And you'll see because of Belly Dance, the character will chase us, leading them right into our dance partner, allowing us to strike. And of course we also gain a benefit from having that, which means we can also strike. And we still have other things we can do. For example, we can do our Rhythmic Rally. So we can use this, put this on Lae'zel if we want to. You'll see we still have 5 points. And as a bonus action, we can give her another extra action without being her dance partner, and it doesn't cost anything. So you can really use the dances and Rhythmic Rally to your advantage as well. If you don't want to Vogue to give you both an extra action, you can give yourself and one of your characters more AC, for example, and then as a bonus action, you could give your fighter the extra action still, so you can still pump out multiple attacks every round, but you have more protection, and maybe your wizard has more protection too.
I won't give in.
Then at this point, it really is just a case of ending the fight, and that is how easily the Paramour can just dominate the battlefield. We didn't even use things like Fairy Fire to give advantage on attacks. We didn't use Rare Enfeeblement, we didn't use Charm Person, nothing like that. So this is probably one of the most impressive and awesome battlefield controlling subclasses I've ever seen. But it does depend on your team composition. For example, if you had Shadowheart, a Rogue, and Jaheira, probably not as strong. You would have seen that in my previous build guide for the Cheerleader. So using this one as an example of sort of like min-maxing your party really shows just how easily you can dominate everyone and end fights. So really hope you have enjoyed this build. If you have, please drop the episode a like and check the mod out because it is awesome. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel as well. I've got more guides to Baldur's Gate, to Wu-Chang Fallen Feathers, Path of Exile, Elden Ring, Dragon Age, basically all the amazing RPGs you could ever need. And hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.